Hello Year 7s, really sorry that I'm not with you again. I'm away on a trip today with the Year 11s, so I thought I would just put this little video together to remind you of what you should be doing. Now, by now you should have a series of drawings, perhaps something like this, where you've got more than one drawing on a page, where you've looked at different kinds of objects. It's good to try small objects like we know in real life. A pencil sharpener is really tiny, but again the whole point is how to make an object look interesting. So you can see that this one's been enlarged here. This water sprayer is pretty much about life size. So if you've already started some drawings, and I hope you have by now, make sure you tidy them up. Again, some others here. Again, some of the objects in the middle of the room. Note how this one takes up a lot of room here. And again, little details like this is the plug from some kind of appliance. This is another one started. This is an enlarged drawing. You can probably look at it better this way up, and it's very pale, but it's a very small object again. So again, we're trying to make things look interesting, ordinary objects look interesting, just as the pop artist did. So after you've done a few practice drawings, I want you to try and do some neater ones. Okay, and here are some examples where you are taking up a whole page with your drawings. Okay, and again here we've got some clippers, and again a simple object like that, but it's made to look interesting. And notice, to make it as big as this person could, they drew it diagonally. Other things to think about, as you can see here, you may be able to see there are some guidelines that are drawn, and also notice how on the right side here the lines are thicker and darker. Even by just using line, you can give the idea that this side of the object is in shadow just by altering the thickness of the line. Okay. Here's another one, and the other example I showed you. Now, the next stage, I want you to start looking at parts of the object. So, for example, you're going to be given a piece of tracing paper this kind of size, and I want you to find part of your object that you find interesting. So for me, it may be this part here, and I will decide to trace that, perhaps. Okay? So look at some of the objects, use your tracing paper. Again, if you are choosing a part, it's probably a good idea to get a little piece of blue tack, and you can start to trace the object. So we do that just by going over the main lines as carefully as possible. Okay, so that's how we will start. As you can see, this is an example from somebody's book, and you can see that person has pretty much chosen the section I chose from this drawing, and you can see sections from other objects that this person has drawn. So that's what I want you to explore, using different pieces of tracing paper, how you can find different sections from objects, different parts that look interesting. Again, there are some more here. Now this person decided to concentrate on one object here. And again, you can see this is from this drawing, and this person has chosen sections from that drawing. Now these sections, these pieces of tracing paper have been stuck down on this piece of paper just to show what's happening. We will need to use your pieces of tracing paper later, so don't stick them down to anything, just put them together. Now again, you will see here, this person has chosen some of those tracings. They all come from this drawing, and has used the larger piece of tracing paper to join them together to make a really interesting pattern, an interesting design. That's one idea of arranging them together, and that's another idea. And what in fact, and another one. And then what this person ended up doing, because we'll be doing some, this is a photograph of this person's print, and you can see the original prints outside my room, opposite where you line up. So that's just to give you an idea of what's going to happen. So first of all, just to recap, choose one of your drawings, one of your objects, and try using your piece of tracing paper, finding an interesting part. And you do that with some of the different objects until you think you've found some shapes that you can use and put them together in an interesting way. As I say, these are put together to make an interesting pattern. So in today's lesson, tidy up your drawings, make sure you have at least one big drawing that is completed as neatly as you can, and then use your pieces of tracing paper to trace parts of your objects that you find interesting. When you have all your pieces of tracing paper, put those in your folder, and next lesson we'll be looking at how we can put them together to make them look more interesting. Okay. I do hope you will work well and make as much as the time, and I'll look forward to seeing you at last in your next lesson. Bye for now. TTFN.